Be no more. If you're going to communicate with a person that's on the other team or on your team in a pub match, there is no more giving the other person shit. Period. If you get comms banned, I'll make sure. I'll talk to Rando and you're out. I'll kick you out of the fucking clan because it's that serious. We can't have people comms banned going into this. So just put that into your guys' brain how
And,
serious this is. That
and
if
that's
you
not
get
what
comms
Peril
banned,
does.
you're out. And any which way, Peril, exactly, as Zap and everybody else will say, we have a name. We're known, and we're known to be
Gentlemen.
nice guys, gentlemen,
Gentlemen.
and organized. And that's the way we're coming across. So for the people that feel that they need to share a comment with a teammate, you need to stop. Randy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, all right. Start battle. All right. So obviously there's more than 7 here. I'm just going to show you guys general positions. Oh, okay. MVG said I can spectate him. Oh, MVG doesn't have gold. Interesting. Or, Xbox Live gold.
He doesn't have gold, but he's still able to play this game?
Yeah.
For
Wow.
5 cents, you could save MVG from his.
That's not how that works. You have to have Xbox Gold, an Xbox Gold membership to play any online games.
Right. Well,
That's what I
let him
thought.
figure that out. Let him figure that out.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi,
So
everybody.
everybody, before you go anywhere, just take a break here. Just stay where you're at. All right. So I'm talking from South Spawn first, right? Um. So playing the flag itself is going to be pretty difficult, right? Because that's kind of like heavy tank city, and we don't really need to be running heavy tanks on a map that's just so big, and there's going to be so much flanking involved. What we're going to have to do is the guys at the K3 spawn go to G7. And let's go ahead and have the guys at the A1 spawn go to D7. The guys that spawned at the 2 and the 2 spawns, you're going to kind of stay in that area, and what you're going to be doing is looking for the enemy making the 1, or not the 1, but the 0-9 line push. Okay? Kim, are you on the
Randy,
other team
where
by any
did you want
chance?
us to go again for zero line?
Right. Hold on back there, guys. So we're not. So everybody that's on the 9-0 line, we're not rushing up. Okay.
Okay.
What we're doing
Oh,
is
I thought we were
pretty
supposed to
much
go to
staying-
G7.
Right. The guys that are at the 1 spawns, who are at K3 and A3, are going to those locations. The guys that spawned at the 2 spawn are staying back, pretty much right by their spawns, and they're looking down the road. They're going to be, everybody, either side, doesn't matter, either side, you're going to be looking down these roads, and you're going to be looking for the enemy making hard pushes over the E0, F0 line, right? If they push over either side, then the guys on the 7 line would adjust back over, and you'd have a flanking move. You'd have a built-in flank. What the lights will do, the lights are a separate entity, right? The lights are going to move up the 0 line. Fall back, OG, just so everybody has a good picture. Go where you're supposed to be. Back down to like the J9 area. No, not necessarily. I don't. I mean, you're back there because if you move up too far, you can get flanked. If they're moving quickly, right? So you're back there. So the reason the guys that at the 2 line are staying back towards the 2 line is if they push 7 guys over here, you don't want to be in right here. You don't want to be right here when they push that many over. If the light tanks discover that they have not come this way and say they've all gone to the flag, then everybody at the 2 line would push up across
All right.
the map.
I'm confused for a minute because
I'm
nobody's
sorry,
at the two line.
I'm sorry, not
You
two
keep
line.
saying
At
a
the
2
0
line, and I'm
two
like,
spawn. Two spawn.
all right. I've been twisted
two
since
spawn?
this thing started. Okay.
My bad. Right.
When you say 2 spawn, you mean the spawn on the right.
the spawn that says the spawn that says 2.
2
That's the
on it.
exact same
Okay.
one.
Got you.
Right.
All right. I got that part.
Because and I asked some guys on the Discord, you cannot predict the only tanks you can predict where they will spawn is artillery. So we cannot predict who will spawn at the 2 spawns and who will spawn at the 1 spawns, right? So you got to know to do with each side, okay? So I'm going to talk real quick from the south spawn perspective, okay? Just because I need to pick one, right? And it's going to be mirrored, right? It's pretty much a mirror map. So from the from the K3 spawn, the 1 spawn, you would come up the hill, and you would get to that G7 spot, right? And you're kind of looking to see, the light tanks are at this time, they're looking around, seeing what's going on. Really important for the light tanks to gather as much information as they can. Because the first thing we need to guard against is them pushing due south from the north spawn, the enemy. And that's, so if they were to say push 7 tanks up or south from the north spawn, you guys back there like White Rabbit, all you guys would be down there to look down. Number 1, look down the road that's on the 9 line, and number 2, to watch and see if they hop over the berm at E0, right? And you're too far up. If you guys could move back to these little hill positions, back at J9, K9, because you don't want to get that far up, right? Like if they push over, if they push over this hill and you're right there at this intersection, it's going to be 3 on 6 and you're dead before the other guys can adjust back over. So that's why you're that far back, right? If nobody is found to be here, say that everybody from the 1 spawn, the 2 spawn went to the west of the map, the left side of the map. And what's going to happen is the guys down at the southern 2 spawn are going to move north. So go ahead and move north, guys. Stinger, Rabbit, and Maverick. Maverick, you're a medium tank for our purposes right now.
I'm trying to take notes while we're doing this, so sorry.
I gotcha.
Perfect. That's awesome. Then I can take notes then.
Right. Okay. Real quick. So if they didn't take the east side of the map, then they've gone down to the west side and they've got the low ground. We've got the high ground. Our objective is to take advantage of the high ground as much as possible. We're going to eliminate everybody on the 7 line over as quickly as possible in this game, so that we can then focus on the west side of the map, the left side. So if we didn't see anybody, the light tank and the mediums would push up, and they get up, and light tank's obviously looking for spots, trying to find out where everybody's at, and the mediums would set up along that middle ridge, move over to this large gun emplacement here, and we'd start to enfold the bad guys along with the guys that are set up at G7, right? Because they've probably gone towards the flag. So who are these guys? Maverick, Stinger, and Rabbit. If you guys would.
Randy, I got a
Yeah.
quick question. Can we try something where we all jump back to our spawns real fast?
Let's go back
Hold
to our
on.
spawns. Well, real quick, let me ask what you're talking about.
Let
real quick.
everybody. Yeah.
Well, what I want to see is how far I can, as a light tank, get before I'm spotted and get the mediums into a certain place.
Go back to your spawns. Here, the fact is, you're going to get up to either F0 or E0, depending on which side you're spawning on,
Yeah.
right?
Randy, finish out this
Okay.
strat before we do anything else.
Oh,
Finish
okay.
out your strat.
Then, yeah, Randy, let's finish let's finish off Randy's strat, and then we'll do some test outs.
I'll post a strat sketch for this, guys. So when those guys, when we see that, either we take out all the guys here on the eastern side of the map, 7 line right. We're gonna swing around. The guys that were at the original 2 spawn on the southern 2 spawn are gonna swing around, and they will then be on the northern side of the map, and we will fold into the flag area because there's a lot of good, above ground areas to fight in. That's why we're picking these tanks, because they've got decent gun depression and they're quick, so that we can make these maneuvers, right? Now, if for instance they do push 5 or 6 tanks, whoever they push along the 9-0 line, what we're gonna do is the guys at the 2 line are gonna shoot north, while the guys at the G7 area would push back to the right, and we get a flank on them, right? Hopefully they would push as far up as we can let them before we spring that trap. After, I think it's pretty simple. Then of course we would move west along the map and try and envelop anybody we found. Now, how does that sound to you guys? You guys understand that basic, that concept? How's that sounding?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, real quick, let's do that real quick, and then we'll see what Wits had to say and open it up for discussion. Okay, everybody, get back to your original spawn, like when you spawned in the game where you were at. Well, one or two spawn, whichever one you're at.